Good evening, everyone. Calling the meeting to order. Wanted to officially welcome everyone back for our November full board meeting. Today is November 18th, 2025. To welcome you to our Manhattan Community Board 11 full board meeting. My name is Xavier Santiago. I'm the chair of CB11. This meeting is officially called to order at 6:38 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by District Manager Angel Muscane, Assistant District Manager Clayton Nixon, and Community Liaison Marlene Pierre. Before we jump into a few ground rules, I want to acknowledge that it's Puerto Rican Heritage Month. So you'll see a lot of festivities around. Please engage throughout the community. Now moving on. And also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving next week. So hope you're all looking forward to some rest and relaxation and food coma. So with that, in order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom or here in the room. If you click the participants icon, the participants panel should appear. You should find the raise hand function there. If you still have technical difficulty, you may click the chat icon and relay your difficulty. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. If you are here in the room, I will recognize your hand and you may take the floor to speak. 3, the chat function should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom or here in the room. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. 4, when a member is given the floor to speak, I'll identify you. You may unmute yourself or stand and speak. 5, please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. 6, members of the public can register to speak in the public session by completing the pre-registration form and providing their name, affiliation, and what topic they wish to speak about. A link to the registration form has been shared in the chat. There's also a form at the front of the desk with Marlene. Registration for public session needs to be completed by 7:15 p.m. We will now call the roll. Our secretary is running late, so I will go through. Jose Altamirano. Thank you. Fernando Alvarez. Marcel Bondima. Adem Brija. Marie Charles. Leslie Colon. Carlos Diaz. Carlos Diaz. I think he said he would be late. Okay. Rosa Diaz will be late. Jessica Elliott. David Giordano. Ada Jerezi. Present. James Gray. John Green.
Here.
Chancellor Gregg. Pascal Hano. Wanda Hopkins.
Here.
Keoka Jackson. Christina Johnson. Jewel Jones. James Kemp. Sage Mason. Malik McCullough. Robin McGinty. Jennifer Mayer. Jessica Morris. Hayward Mooten.
Here.
Nilsa Rama. Beverly Pabon. Samantha Pedrero. Samantha Pedrero. Carlin Percy. Tanya Phelps. Marina Phillips. Valerie Ponti. Asher Rodriguez. Dawn Sanders.
Here.
Xavier Santiago, present. Janelle Satija. Isaac Scott. Russell Schuler. Loretta So. Derek Stampone. Vinnie Torres is absent. Anne Marie Vasquez is absent. Jason Villanueva. Candy Vivas Vasquez will be late. Nye Whitaker will also be arriving late. Agatha White,
Present.
Michelle Wiltshire Clement, Jason Wu. We have a quorum. Okay. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and was posted online. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Board members, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand here in the room or through Zoom. Seeing no hands raised, the agenda for tonight's meeting is officially adopted. We will now move on to our pre-registered speakers. A few ground rules for those wishing to speak. You, one, must sign up and give testimony, providing your name and affiliation. Two, you will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Please state your phone and email up front. 2 minutes will be afforded you to speak, and then reserve a minute for questions. A timer will be up as an aid. 3, you should address your testimony to the board, not the public. 4, you should speak clearly and into the microphone. 5, you should be prepared to respond to board members who may ask questions in order to clarify facts and opinions presented in your comments. And 6, if required, the chair will remind you of the time or concluding the remarks. Board members, again, a reminder, you should only ask clarifying questions. Commentary will not be entertained. And first up, we have Marcieli Alvarado from Community We Act. Yes, sorry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcieli Alvarado. I'm a community organizer from We Act for Environmental Justice. We would like to invite you all to the EJNYC Community Charrette on Saturday, December 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Manhattanville Community Center. Help us develop a plan to address environmental justice issues in Northern Manhattan and beyond. Join in on discussions surrounding climate change, healthy housing, and open space in Northern Manhattan. My email is marcieli.alvarado@weact.org, and my phone number is 646-983-7073.
Are there any questions? No? All right, thank you very much. Okay. Next, we have committee funding for safety awareness 3 for East Harlem Conference 2025. Jacqueline Camacho. Jacqueline Camacho, is she online? Okay. Okay, I don't have anyone else except for the representative for Assemblymember Gibbs' office, which we'll get to, and the elected officials sign in. Are there any other pre-registered speakers? Okay. If not. Okay, with that. Okay. We will now move on to hear from our local elected officials. If you've not already signed up to speak, we ask that elected officials or their representatives please alert our staff in the chat if they wish to give a report. We ask that any events, service literature be shared with our office, and we will distribute it as is appropriate. Please keep your report to 3 minutes and be mindful not to repeat what others have already mentioned. Again, we recommend the same 2 minutes to speak and then 1 minute to entertain questions. Please state your contact information up front as well. And first we have Shani Herrera from Councilmember Salam.
Good evening, Community Board 11. I have a short report. My name is Shani Herrera. I'm District Manager for Councilmember Yusuf Salam. My phone number is area code 212-678-4505. I'm here to report that the New York City Council has passed Intro 1193A, a bill introduced by Councilmember Salam This legislation strengthens consumer protections across the 5 boroughs. The legislation requires that the contractors provide written disclosure of all necessary work permits before construction begins. This legislation will clearly state who is responsible for obtaining said permits, and residents can also verify through the database. Also, our office is doing a pre-Thanksgiving dinner at the Adam Clayton Power Junior State Office Building on Wednesday, November 26th at 5 p.m. This event is by RSVP only. If you are interested in attending, please contact our office and speak with Emerald Williams. On behalf of Councilmember Yusuf Salam and his staff, we would like to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you so much for being with us. I have a Tamika, I can't read the last name, candidate number 68. Okay. Okay, next we have Oriana Rivera from Senator Serrano's office.
Good evening, CB11. So really quick, I'd like to remind you two announcements. So it's gonna be the first one. Remember that we constantly have constituent hours of the site. This time will be at Franklin Plaza on November 24. That will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and the address is 2078 2nd Avenue. Then in December, we're going to have another one that will be at Carver Senior Center. That's 1481 Madison Avenue. And that will be December 4th, same from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also, reminding you that we always are open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and that we are having a code drive on our office until December 18th. So please stop by and drop off any codes that you don't wear anymore. It could be adults and kids. And all donations will go to New York Cares Code Drive to benefit those in need. Again, the office is located at 335 East 100th Street. That's between 1st and 2nd Avenue. And our phone number is 212-828-5829. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Next, we have Wendy Hewlett from Assemblymember Gibbs's office. Wendy?
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, CB11. My name is Wendy Hewlett. I am the Chief of Staff to Assemblyman Edward Gibbs. My number is 212-828-3953. My email address is Hewlett, HEWLETTW @nyassembly.gov. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about some events that we're having. Next Tuesday, we're having our senior Thanksgiving dinner, which will be at Johnson Community Center. It'll be Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. For additional information, please call my office. I'll give that number again, 212-828-3953. All is welcome. We also have our annual toy drive. The deadline for the collection is December 13th. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Last but not least, we have our Christmas dinner holiday meal. And that will be December 22nd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please call the office for additional information. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Great. Any questions? No. Thank you for being with us, Wendy. Next is Maggie McDermott from Deputy Speaker Ayala's office. Maggie?
Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here once again. I want to start with good evening and happy blessed Thanksgiving. I hope everybody is getting ready for Thanksgiving next week. It's hard to believe. Deputy Speaker Ayala hosted her annual turkey giveaway yesterday, where staffers distributed turkeys and pernils to her 16 East Harlem NYCHA developments and community members. It was a tremendous success, and everybody was really super pleased to receive, these much needed provisions. Deputy Speaker Ayala is currently transitioning out of office as her term is coming to an end. I as well will be leaving the office, and I wanted to take this opportunity to say it's been a pleasure to represent the office at the Community Board 11 full board and district cabinet monthly meetings, and to serve constituents within the community that we deeply love. I want to thank Community Board 11 members and attendees. Thank you. Keep it brief. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving and be safe. And that's it.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
Any questions for Maggie? Seeing that there are none. Okay, are there any other elected officials or their representatives online or here in the room? Yes, I see Sean Brannon from the MBPO's office. That will be the next agenda item. Seeing that there are none, we will now move on to our borough president's report, and I welcome Sean Brannon from the MBPO's office since Porfirio could not be with us. Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, CB11. As Chairman Santiago said, I am filling in for my esteemed colleague, Porfirio Figueroa. I just have a couple of things to bring to you, and I will be brief. First off, thank you to all the community board members who participated in the leadership training series. For those who may have missed that training, please feel free to go to our Manhattan Borough President YouTube page to actually catch up on anything that you did miss. Next up, we've been dealing with the federal shutdown. We know that's coming to a conclusion, but for those who still need assistance in terms of food insecurities, please visit the Food Bank of New York's food map to see where you can find the nearest location for support. And last but not least, happy Puerto Rican Heritage Month and a happy Thanksgiving. Any questions that you may have, please feel free to refer to Porfirio, who will be returning, and it is business as usual in our office. Thank you, Chair.
Are there any questions for Sean from the MBPO's office? Seeing there are none, thank you so much for joining us, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
Checking again, are there any pre-registered speakers that have signed up to give testimony or to speak on an issue or any other elected officials? I'm calling one more time for Jacqueline Camacho. Okay, seeing that there are none, going to move the meeting along. Just bear with me. Okay. We're now going to move into our business session. For those of you who's attending, this is your first board meeting. This is where we conduct business that's been exercised in the committees. It is for board members to speak on, vote on, and for those that are unfamiliar with the process, just enjoy the ride. There will be debate. Most issues are up and down votes. So if you have any questions after the meeting, please feel free to reach out and talk to one of us. We welcome all of our guests. Okay, the minutes from September's and October's full board meeting were distributed to the board members ahead of time by the board office. If there are no objections, we will adopt them. You need it? Okay. Okay. There is an objection to the minutes from those meetings. Please, Jessica Morris is recognized. What correction would you like to see for those meeting minutes from either September or October?
Thank you. I'm glad the mic is working tonight. So the full board meeting minutes from September should be amended to reflect that Adem Briha was present, not voting for licenses and permits, item number 2, which was bundled without notation. Member's position was clearly stated on the record, but it wasn't indicated.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please let the record note, without having a mic fall, that item should be amended. And with that amendment, if there are no objections to adopt the minutes from the September and October board meetings, please raise your hand here in the room or through Zoom. Seeing no objections, both September's and October's full board meeting with that one item of present not voting will be added to the record. We'll now move on to the chair's report. I will do my level best to keep it brief. November was a very short month. This Thursday, we have Borough Board. And I'll be able to report back on that. There's a lot of discussion about how we interact with city agencies, what we're going to do now that the elections have passed, especially as the city charter revisions went through. Community boards and how we interact, and especially with land use projects, are going to change going forward. Our influence has been deeply diminished, but we are looking at avenues and way we can improve. And when I say this, the way they can activate and select members to represent the borough president, how they can override the council member. So we were going to have to be banding together more and working together throughout all of the community boards when we deal with land use development projects, especially affordable housing. It also then presents challenges when it comes to those issues where we don't have oversight through ULURP. So we will be having a robust discussion this coming Thursday. And to that end, we will be having a presentation in December dealing with urban design and planning from DCP. So I had a great meeting with Brendan Carr, Dr. Brendan Carr, the new CEO of Mount Sinai. If you remember, we had the ribbon cutting for the new ER. If you're ever having to go on there involuntarily, like I've had to do with my kids, it's a completely different environment. For those of us who knew what it was like, you're shoulder to shoulder, you crammed in, it was very much triage. It has improved so much. So Dr. Carr takes it very seriously about how he can engage with this community. A lot of the issues we talked about were employment, especially kids coming out of high school, because they're looking for people. They want to hire. So this is something that is very important to him. They even talked about ways we could possibly activate a specialized high school. So something that we should all look to activate and work together. All right. Thank you to our Housing Committee Chair, Adem Briha, who we went through the Johnson Houses walkthrough. I want to say thanks to Marie Charles, Jessica Morris, James Gray. And if I've missed anyone, I want to say thank you. You got to see real world impact of what's happening to our public housing, including one thing to highlight is that one of the kitchens over the stovetop, they had to put an umbrella from where a leak had been because all of the spackling and the patching was breaking down. And every time someone would walk, it would fall into their food. So they had to put up an umbrella to stop that. SOMOS conference, this is information purposes only, but I'm waiting on all of this information, the presentations from all of the legislative panels I attended. It's stuff that will affect all of our committees. And once I have that materials, I will forward it to the committee chairs. I'm also regularly meeting and keeping the other housing committee and other chairs, public safety, when it comes to our issues with our larger developments, including Franklin Plaza. Thank you, Leslie Colon, for keeping us abreast with everything Second Avenue Subway and what's going on over there. I know 1199 is facing some challenges, but I want to highlight the conversation I did have with Ms. Joanne Lawson, a former board member who is also the TA president. They're dealing with challenges over there. And if you recall the shooting that happened last Thursday, the individual was there in Lakeview and was brandished the gun to someone in the elevator in Lakeview at 1590, then worked his way to the bodega, then down to Mount Sinai, which we were alerted to, and then with the interaction on 96 in Madison. There's a real tragedy happening right now, but the fact is that there was no response within the security. They only have 3 security guards there. So it's something, and this happened in a matter of less than half an hour. So again, just being aware of what's going on out there, public safety wise, but they are concerned there, the residents, and they're facing their own challenges with their landlords. The rest of this is information purposes only. I want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, and may you get home and get to your homes, visiting family safe and sound, and return to us. Thank you. District Manager's report.
Hello. My favorite part of the month. So sharing a couple of things from my report, on October 28th, I had the opportunity to participate in the Urban Land Institute's second annual Equitable Development Summit. This event examined the urgent complexities surrounding housing affordability in New York City, focusing on how various programs, partnerships, policy, and financial tools shape the development that determines which members of our communities have access to housing and where. Representatives from HPD, REBNY, Urban Builders Collaborative, MBD, Community Housing Corporation out of the Bronx, and ANHD were present and participating on the panels along with myself. I wanted to extend a real special thank you to our board vice chair, Jessica Elliott, and the organizing committee for thinking of including me in this event. It was a great opportunity. Board member Sage Mason was also present. It was nice to see him there. It's a very sensitive mic. On November 14th, the New York Public Library provided us an update regarding the Aguilar Library renovation project. The work at the branch was scheduled to complete renovations this coming winter. They were thinking as late as potentially January. Unfortunately, while working on the exterior ramp, the Department of Design and Construction uncovered structural problems on the building facade. The building, which is now 122 years old, will need to undergo further work to preserve its structural integrity. NYPL will have a better sense of the new reopening timeline once they are finished with the assessment, and will keep our office posted, which of course I will share with all of you. Third, on November 19th, tomorrow, the City Council Committee on Land Use will hold a public hearing on the following matters in the hearing room 3 at 250 Broadway on the 8th floor. The hearing starts at 10:30. It's regarding 3 different intros. One, a local law to amend the administrative code of the City of New York in relation to citywide percentage of rental units in projects receiving city financial assistance that must be 2 and 3 bedrooms. Second, a local law to amend the administrative code in relation to maximum citywide percentage of studio apartments and city-funded projects to construct rental units for older adults. And third, a local law, excuse me, in relation to the citywide percentage of rental units and projects receiving city financial assistance that must be affordable to extremely low income and very low income households. I think I have one more. And then the last thing is just to share that the community board office will be closed for Thanksgiving on November 27th. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to our officer reports. Jess, do you have one? I didn't see it. Okay. Rosa will be running a little bit late, but she will be with us, and she is going to be delivering an attendance report for everyone. That if you've hit the threshold of hitting 3 missed committee meetings, times 2, right? So if you're on public safety, or if you're on district needs and you've missed 3 of each, she's going to contact you. If you missed 3 full board, she's going to contact you, because at 4, when you missed your 4th, we start the process for removal. Now, it doesn't mean automatic removal. To remind everyone, it's just checking in and reminding you that you have to be plugged in and attending things. So she will be issuing a report over email. So be on the lookout for that. We'll now move on to our treasurer's report. Derek.
Good evening, everyone. Treasurer Derek Stampone. I have to share the other than personnel services spending report for the fiscal year from July 2025 through November 2025. These are the spending within these different areas. Item object code 319 is for the security system tech support. Item number 400 is the videography for the full board meetings. Item 402 is the cost for self-service. Item 431 is the cost of the office copier rental. Item 624 is the monthly cost for cleaning services. Item 684 is for the Airtable subscription. And item 735 was a one-time fee for the DJ at the annual youth festival. Airtable is 684, $416.16. Any other questions? Michelle? I don't have that number for you.
Angel, what is our current OTPS?
I don't have that at hand, but that full budget and detailed descriptions of how it would be spent for the fiscal year was shared with the entire board at the September meeting. I can resend it tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Right. Okay, we will now move on to our committee reports and action items. Okay. First up, we're going to have bylaws. Madam Bria.
All right, good evening, everybody. So the bylaws committee met the Monday after our last full board meeting. We had a deep conversation about the proposed board oversight committee. I'll read the motion that we made and then I'll explain it a bit. So Sage Mason made a motion in support of the evolution of the office oversight committee into a board oversight committee, which shall at all times be charged with overseeing effective, transparent, and accountable operation of the board. The motion was seconded by Jessica Morris and passed with 2 opposed. Okay, so essentially, just so we're all clear, this was not a bylaw amendment. This does not mean that we have a board oversight committee at the moment. We still have the office oversight committee as it has always operated. What this has done is basically break that process up into 2 sections. So committee has now taken a position that the concept of the board oversight committee is something that bylaws committee is in favor of. What has not been addressed or has not been agreed upon or there has not been consensus for is exactly what that board oversight committee would be tasked with beyond if it was implemented, what the office oversight committee already does. We did go into a lot of detail. So there was deliberations on what those details were. Just to briefly give a couple of examples, as you could see, there were 2 opposed. Where there was consensus, there was a general agreement on a lot of the things. There was some pushback with how members would be appointed to that committee, and also in terms of the full scope of what that committee could be making recommendations to the full board for. As we said last month, all of the materials for this are in the bylaws committee folder on the drive. You can review the red line copy, which I find the easiest that Sage put together, where you can clearly see what the amendments would be throughout the document as currently proposed. If anybody needs a link and that makes it easier for you, I would be happy to share that. And so we will be meeting this Monday. You're all welcome to attend. I think Derek and Nilsa can attest that at that committee. Even if you're not on the committee, you're welcome to the table and you can give all the input that you have. So I guess that's it for that. And okay, Jessica.
Hey, just wanted to know if you could give an update on the bylaws adjustments and conversations around the election timing and term limits for officers. Thanks.
Definitely. Xavier, I know you've been the one that's been corresponding, you said with city law. So I will say that Jessica Morris did bring up, I believe it was articles, and I have this all written down. Article 3, right? Can you say it for me? What was it? 3B2. And I had asked the committee that evening if we had discussed it, if we wanted to take a position. I think it needed to be fully clarified. There was discussion about adding the word in to say a full 2-year term as opposed to. Okay, so then sorry.
Thank you. The question is not about anything specific in the bylaws. The
Oh, okay.
question is more about back in March of this year, there was proposal put forward about adjusting elections and potentially term limits and other things that was essentially tabled. It's now election month. So I'm just curious what happened in the months from March to today, and what plans does your committee have for the future, since we weren't able to incorporate ahead of elections, for amending the elections process for a smoother and clearer process? Thanks.
Okay, well, all the suggestions that have been given were discussed by the committee. This included moving the elections to the spring. The committee decided to not do that at that time. There was a question of if you could not serve out the full 2-year term, would that not qualify you to run? Committee did not take a position on that either. And we had a lot of conversations. There just could not be consensus with that. There was also the idea of doing 1-year terms as opposed to 2-year terms. Again, consensus could not be reached on that. The only thing that I recall there being consensus on, which we passed, correct me if I'm wrong, was that we reduced it from 3 2-year terms to 2 2-year terms for any officer position. And the rationale for that from the committee was that now that we're term limited to 8 years, the prior 6-year term that an officer could serve in a single seat seemed excessive, where before that, where you could be on this board for, I mean, I know people who were on here for 40 years, that it didn't seem as excessive.
Sorry, just what's the plan moving forward? Like what?
Yeah, okay.
Because right
yeah.
now there's still problems,
No,
clearly.
and I agree. I'm gonna be honest with you, you know, we pushed the conversation along as much as we could. Those were the things that were presented way back in February. A lot of these ideas were presented originally by Angel and Jessica. We considered all of them. The fact of the matter is the election began and we could not get consensus, so we moved on to other topics. I agree with Jessica that we do have an election in 2 years, but it would be better sooner than later. So we will be continuing that conversation. I think that we had put it aside because this election was happening and we could not get consensus. Sage has put a lot of work into this board oversight committee. And I felt that with the election already happening and us having had every conversation we could, having those conversations multiple times, it felt like then it would be pushing people to take positions at the time they were not comfortable with taking. So whether we revisit those solutions we had looked at, or whether we come up with new creative solutions, which might be the better idea. We've looked at what other boards do. A lot of boards do 1-year terms, some align with the spring, just to give you an idea of why maybe a couple of those did not pass at that time, where the idea of aligning with the spring still caused concern that new members would be on the board maybe for a month and already be tasked with voting for officers. Not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing. The committee just wasn't certain about that at that time. And there was a question of whether any of these solutions that were currently presented would solve our election problems with the term limits and with people being termed off a large chunk every other year. So I agree that solutions have to be reached. I just don't know if we have those yet. I wouldn't say now it's the most urgent thing, but I think it would be wise for us to have that addressed at least, I would say, a year to 18 months out prior to the next election. So I think that would be the goal, and I think the committee can accomplish that.
Thank you, Sage.
I also want to say, sorry, this is a sensitive thing. I find that the bylaws committee has been one of the most receptive committees to like people's ideas and potential solutions for things. I think ADEM has been really great at asking people for like what they want in the bylaws committee and these bylaws revisions. And so there may be some problems and we discuss them at length, sometimes a little bit too long. But I think if anybody has solutions, like that's what we want. So just come, please, if you have any, to the bylaws committee, and we're going to talk about your ideas, and it's going to be, I think, a great collaborative process. So I think it's been one of the best committees I've been on.
Thank you, Sage.
Okay. If there are no other questions, Sage Mation made a motion in support of the evolution of the board of the Office Oversight Committee into the Board Oversight Committee, which shall at times be charged with overseeing the effective, transparent, and accountable operation of the board. The motion was seconded by Jessica Morris and passed with 2 opposed, Jones and Ponte. And reminding you, this is a main motion on the floor, so it only needs a first to move it forward.
I'll first.
Okay, I just so moved. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, hold on a second. I have Asher Rodriguez. Hold on. Where's Rosa when you need her? Okay, okay, opposed. Who else? Jewel Jones and yeah, thank you. Any others? Yes, Michelle Witcher Clement opposed. Any abstentions?
Dawn Sanders.
Dawn Sanders, Jose abstain? Opposed? Okay. Dawn Sanders abstains. Okay, hold on a second. And I abstain. Although I applaud the work, and Jason Vino abstain? I applaud the work, but I owe the committee a review of my feedback, so, but I appreciate it, that's all. Thank you very much. So yes, the motion passed, sorry.
Okay, no, thank you.
All right,
So do you want me to? go to
housing
license?
is next.
Okay, housing, right. All right, so I'm also the housing chair. We really focused, and you've all heard about it the last couple of months, the proposed supportive housing at St. Francis at 2162 Third Avenue. You know, they presented, I believe, back in September. I'm not going to get into all the details. You've heard it. I had noticed, I think last time I mentioned that, they were going to be closing on the property in December, but it's as of right. I felt, and I expressed this to community and everybody, that there was what I felt to be a little bit of a sense of urgency, having realized they were planning to purchase the property for the committee to take a preliminary position. I drafted a letter, and let me make this really clear. The housing committee is not opposed to supportive housing. We're not opposed to any type of supportive housing. We were simply saying that we were asking them to consider serving a different population. In this case, we're discussing the possibility of single parent families that are at risk of homelessness or are homeless. And so that letter was not sent to them. It was discussed at the committee. Committee came to the conclusion that not to send the letter at that time. I think it made sense in the end. Fact of the matter is, I don't think that letter would stop them from closing on the property. They already know our city council person is opposed to it. If they're moving forward despite that, I think they'll move forward despite our letter. With that said, then we also agreed, and Isaac and me have gone back and forth, that it would be better since this is going to touch on multiple committees, that we try to come up with a united position. If they're gonna do it anyway, and they're gonna serve up the population they choose to, then we should be at the table as much as possible and have as much input as possible. That doesn't mean that we're gonna just accept, at least the housing committee, all the terms that they've presented. But I think that at this time, and I've reached out, looking to coordinate something with human services and youth. And the reason I mention youth is if the other two committees are interested in considering that idea of the single parent families that are homeless. There is, I think, public school homelessness was 1 in 7 students in New York in the past 12 months. It's 1 in 5 in our district. So, you know, there is a pressing need for that. It could be single parent families without serious mental illness or substance abuse disorders, or it could be. You know, the other thing is there would be less units in the property, but those units would have more people in them. I think that we also have to do a look into what really is the amount of supportive housing in this community. I think we hear that there is a lot of saturation, but I don't know that anyone's actually provided concrete statistics to say what that is. I think that maybe there's been some concern just because the newer, or you have Schaefer, Prospero, Timbale, and then you'd have this, and that's 4 all within a few blocks of each other. Now, I'm not saying that that's a problem. I'm saying that saturation might be now a concept that it's saturated to a very small part of this community, but not the whole community. I also just want to let everybody know that there will be another supportive housing project coming at 97th Street and 3rd Avenue, breaking ground, which will be one of the largest, I believe, in the country. And that will again be serving single adults that are older. And sorry, I know I'm going on, but this is important. And one last thing, and I'm trying to get clarity because St. Francis's presentation, in some correspondence, they only mentioned serious mental illness. That seems to be what they've done at their other properties. I believe they have 3 all downtown. And then in their presentation here, they mentioned serious mental illness or substance abuse, substance use disorder, or, you know, somebody who would be suffering from both. And I just think that would be important for us to get clarity since they haven't been consistent. It's possible, I think me and Angel spoke about it, that they were just adopting language from the 1515 program. And that maybe in order to unlock this funding, that they might have to use that other model. And then just to go quickly, we had the walkthrough of Johnson. At the time, they have not, I asked them if they were, did not opt into PAC. There's the Preservation Trust Program, which is another way for NYCHA to unlock Section 8 funding. I think a lot of the concerns that I've heard from people or developments that haven't opted into PAC is this distrust for the private management companies. I totally understand that. But the Preservation Trust is something to explore because that would unlock Section 8 funding and continue to allow NYCHA to manage the properties. So if a lot of these developments are, if the holdback for them or the drawback is the private management companies, then I think there has to be a discussion about why this Preservation Trust program has not been, I think, talked about as much as PAC. And then with that said, tomorrow at 11 a.m., the Housing Committee will be doing a walkthrough of Jackie Robinson Houses. Thank you, Loretta. And Jackie Robinson Houses is in the process of converting into the PAC program. As originally said, they were supposed to have already been in it. Then it got pushed back to November, and now it's anticipated for December. We felt that it would make sense to do a walkthrough with the tenant association first, and then we will be doing a walkthrough once it is converted, and then NYCHA management will leave the property. They will be replaced by the private management, which is via development, and we will be doing a walkthrough with them as well. And I mean, obviously, we'd love the tenant association to also be on that walkthrough. So with all that said, oh, and then I don't want to steal any thunder, but I know that the Human Services Committee has a motion tonight that's supporting a bill for scree and dree. I'll let them explain that more, but it's a good thing. The Housing Committee passed a resolution early in the year, not about scree and dree, but which is basically they're increasing the bans for the rent freezes. There's also the home ownership, and this is for people, elderly, senior people, and people with disabilities. There's also the home ownership aspect of that, which is SKI, which is for seniors who have home ownership, and then DHE, which is for disabled homeowners. So I'm fully in support of the Human Services motion tonight. I think there will be an opportunity for housing next month to not really touch on what they did, because I think their motion is great, but to maybe follow up on the SKI and the DHE part for home ownership. So we're supporting a resolution we made earlier. I will tell you that I'm glad they caught this because it did slip by us. Senator Serrano's office sent us a tracker of bills. But this one was not on it, even though it had been signed already or approved by committee. I believe it was just an oversight, but it's good that we found it. So sorry for being long-winded, but thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, and regrettably, I'm going to ask you to stay up there a little bit longer. Anne Marie is currently in transit back. She's in a cab. So from the
Yeah, so this
airport,
is licenses and permits now. Okay, yep. All right, so I'll go quick with these. We'll do the licenses first. Tropical Grill on Second Avenue, doing business as Tropical Grill Restaurants, corporate application change for a new wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 2149 Second Avenue. The committee recommended that application be approved. Just so you're all aware, it's just a change in ownership. Nothing with the business or operations will be changing otherwise. Number 3 on our agenda, 1779 Restaurant corporate change application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 1779 Lexington Avenue. The committee recommended that application be approved. Again, same thing, just a change in ownership, no change in their operation. Number 4, Talia Inc., doing business as Cafe de Capo, new application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 1392 Madison Avenue. The committee recommended that application be approved. Number 5, New Andy's Restaurant Corp., doing business as Andy's Restaurant, new application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 2262 3rd Avenue. The application was withdrawn by the applicant, so that is a denial from the committee. That's our procedure. Number 6 is El Gnocchi Restaurant Corp., doing business by the same name, renewal application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 118 East 116th Street. The committee recommended that application be approved. Number 7, 2006 PD Steakhouse Inc., doing business by the same name roughly, renewal application for a wine, beer, and cider license. for a restaurant located at 2006 Third Avenue. The committee recommended that application be denied. They did not submit their documents and were not present at the meeting. And then number 8, MFG Enterprises Corp. doing business as Armoni, renewal application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 1649 Park Avenue. The committee recommended that application be approved. Number 9, Food for Your Soul LLC, doing business as Two Sisters, Four Brothers Restaurant Lounge, renewal application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 355 East 116th Street. The committee recommended that application be approved. Number 10, Adrian E. Jimena Corp. doing business as Restaurant San Cristobal Corp. Renewal application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 339 East 108th Street. The committee recommended that application be approved. Number 11, Vinyl Beer LLC, doing business as Vinyl Beer, renewal application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 1491 Lexington Avenue. The committee recommended that application be approved. And do you want me to just say the one street activity? Okay, so then we had one street activity permit. It's number 12, Reese Family Event. It's a street event. It's on November 15th. Setups 8:30 a.m., breakdowns 3 p.m. It'll be located at East 104th Street between Madison and 5th Avenue. It's a full street closure. The committee recommended that application be approved.
All right, any questions? Yes, Sage. All right, I'm going to, Asher, you have a question?
My only question is, do you know if Reese School spoke to 171 because that's one of the entrances they use in the morning? Like that whole street, so to make sure no one gets like mixed together.
I don't know. I'd have to look at their letters of support and find out. So not sure off the top of my head about that. What? Oh,
it-
it passed already. My fault.
yeah.
I've been up here a while, so sorry about. No, it's my
That's
bad
okay.
too.
Okay.
It was on a Saturday,
if-
just so you all know.
Yeah, so the event passed already, so this is memorializing it. So with that, we're going to bundle these like we have in the past. Number 2 was approved. Number 3 was approved. Number 4 was approved. Number 5 was denied because it was withdrawn. Number 6 was approved. Number 7 was denied. Number 8 was approved. Number 9 was approved. Number 10 was approved. Number 11 was approved and number 12 was approved. I will entertain a motion. Yes, Jason. Okay, Jason Villanueva makes a motion to support the committee's recommendations. Is there a second? Isaac Scott seconds. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Is that an aye, John?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we will have Environment, Open Space and Parks. Malik, because Rosa is on her way.
Yeah, she can, actually. We didn't have quorum, this meeting, so we didn't have one. That's pretty much it. Yes. Next.
Thank you very much. Human Services.
Thank you, beloved. Appreciate you. All right, so good evening, everyone. All right, so one update for informational purposes, the Mount Zion presented plans for a major renovation on the Tisch Cancer Center, which is on like 101st Street and Madison Avenue. They're going to be doing some huge renovations on the building. It's going to be in 2 parts. They're going to do the north wing. Beginning phase starts next year, 2026. For 2 years, they're actually going to section off the hospital, so they're not going to completely vacate it. They're going to we asked them a whole lot of thorough questions about the safety of the patients on the other side of the hospital, but they are going to section it off as they do repairs on one side and vice versa. I won't take too much time on that. I do have the presentation slides here if anyone does want to see it or see some of the visuals that they presented. I want to get to the motion that Adem brought up, and Adem, thank you for introducing the motion during the Housing Committee report. Also first, I won't take any credit for this. Thank you, Robin Stration, who is also on. She's our public member on the Human Services Committee who brought this to our attention. And we are very grateful for her and her contribution. So pretty much the Human Services Committee passed a resolution to provide a letter of support for New York State Bill A5344 S1457A, which raises the SCREE and DREE income thresholds from $50,000 to $67,000 and ties future increases to the cost of living adjustment. So just to be a little bit more descriptive for folks who don't know, like myself, when it was brought to my attention, SCREE is the Senior Citizens Rent Increase Exemption, and DREE is the Disability Increase Exemption, rent freeze for eligible seniors. So Adem said a lot about it, so I won't get much into it, but Robin Stration is here. We also have our committee member, Greg Chancellor, who is also very knowledgeable on this topic as well. If you guys do have any questions about the motion before we vote, it is important that we make informed votes. And so I do encourage you to ask questions if you have questions. Yes, Jessica.
Thank you. It's a point of clarification. In the letter that was prepared is a draft. I understand that we were provided with to review as part of the meeting materials.
Yes.
I think in the third paragraph, there's a typo that should state 50,000 and not 50. So just before you send it out, have a look.
Okay. So noted. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Jason. Okay. Ready?
Okay. Is there a motion?
Is there a motion to adopt the committee's recommendation? Jason Villanueva? Okay. Jason Villanueva made a motion to support the committee's support to write a letter of support for New York State Bill A5344, Senate 1457A to strengthen NYC's rent freeze program. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you. Next up is land use, landmarks, and planning.
Good evening, family. Jason. I'm gonna give you a very short and brief. The meeting was for informational purposes only. We didn't have any action items, but I do think there's some brief updates that need to be brought to the board's attention. In particular, the ECF project on East 96th Street development project update we received from the ECF representative, and basically financing for the project has collapsed. Since such, Avalon Bay has removed themselves from the ULIP process. Currently now they have two developers that they're looking at. They didn't share the names of the developers at this time, but as they work closer to selecting a new developer for the project, then they'll bring them back to fruition to the committee for discussion. There's some concerns of potential civil suits that continue. And the big ask of the community was for potential swing spaces for the schools during the time when they do decide to bring the project into fruition. So those of us that are familiar with real estate within the district, again, just email Angel and we'll make sure we'll get it to land use. It was a joke. Yes, you can email land use and we'll continue to have that discussion at committee. That's a brief update for ECF. And then finally, for announcements, we have Sage Mason from Statement of District Needs. He presented a excellent tool that's going to be coming out. I'll let him speak more to it when he gets to his committee. And our last piece was from George James. You heard it briefly today about there's a lot of terms, words. We voted in November, and basically they told us to streamline housing. And in that process, we got rid of some steps for advocacy through our city council. We had a very in-depth discussion about it. A lot of questions were raised at the committee because of, the ULIP process as was already confusing to say the least. So now it's been split even further. I would applaud you to go to the YouTube website, give a view of this discussion coming December. Our whole projection for 2026 is to focus on urban planning for the district, which is some of the concerns that are being raised by Health and Human Services, or I think it's Human Services now, I'm sorry. Housing, some of the concerns that are being brought up to the district, but we tend to be reactionary in those discussions, so we want to be proactive. And one of the ways to do that is through focusing on planning, and more importantly, to hold the new administration accountable to our already agreed upon points of agreement. When this district was rezoned back in 2017, mayor's office made some agreements, the city made some agreements with us for community givebacks so that developers could build in your communities. The developers are building in your communities. Some of those givebacks are being taken away or are not coming to fruition. So there's going to be a big focus in 2026 from land use in advocating and pushing for those discussions, starting with DCP and HPD. Thank you.
Any questions? Yes.
Thank you, Jason, for speaking on that. Want to join in with Jason in encouraging all members of the board and all members of the public attending this meeting to view the recording for the Land Use Committee meeting on November 12th, where our land use consultant, George James, gave a thorough presentation on the 4 ballot measures that were adopted in November and what the impact of the application of those ballot measures will have on how communities review land use projects. So what we had been used to, ULURP wise, like Jason was saying, is changing significantly. There's a bit of scare tactics out there, because of some opponents of the ballot measures, but George does a very thorough job of explaining what each one of the measures means for community boards and what the opportunities and challenges are for community boards. The slide deck that George prepared as part of his presentation is available on the community board website. So go to the calendar and click on the meeting for November 12th to view both the presentation and George's slide deck and the presentation that George gave during the meeting. We'll be seeing applications coming, like it's in effect now. So we'll be seeing projects come through, or we'll be hearing about projects coming to our district that we were accustomed to prior to the ballot measures going into place, those measures changing the charter, that we won't be seeing going forward. So it's important for you all to take the time to prepare yourselves for what will be coming and what won't be coming. So I could not encourage you more. The ULURP stuff can be confusing for sure, but that's why we have George. And that's why we have all the materials that we make available to you to make it easier to understand. And that's why we're available to assist to the extent that we can in helping you to understand. So you're not entering the conversations overwhelmed, but informed, so you can make informed decisions.
Thank you very much, Angel. So please go check out our land use, landmarks, and planning video on our YouTube page. Thank you, Jason. If you have nothing else, next will be public safety and transportation. Michelle?
Not with chocolates and cookies. Because you didn't get any, so Christine gave them out for me. Okay. So we had a good meeting for public safety and transportation. We had our updates from the NYPD, and we had a presentation by Richard Diaz Lane and Janet Velez. And this was on the winter weather and how we can prepare for it. And I think it's it was really good. And I think that if you could take a look at it, that we can prepare for whatever happens during the winter, whether it be good or not so good. We are prepared. And then we have an action item because we had a safety awareness conference, and our action item, the third one, was to have whatever funds are available for our committee to be able to use it for the conference. And on that note, I'm going to ask my vice chair to talk about the conference.
Good evening, everyone. Pascal New. So I'm gonna try to make this brief. Saturday, we had our SAFE conference. It was a conference convening residents, community board or community-based organizations, city agencies, elected officials in order to encourage alignment towards the advancement of the quality of life in East Harlem around public safety. We aim to learn from each other and hear out ongoing programs and initiatives in the neighborhood and how residents like us could be involved. So just a quick run the show and how the day went. It started off with a pre-event bike ride around East Harlem that was done in partnership with Civitas. They provided city bikes for people who didn't have bikes, as well as helmets. From there, we had a continental breakfast and we did introductions. There was a bunch of people, but I'll shout out a couple. So we had Robin Brown Manning, which is the Senior Associate Dean of Faculty and Academic Affairs and doctoral lecturer from Hunter. She gave a nice little speech at the beginning to kind of launch us, and then we went into a panel discussion, which was led by Michelle. We had people on the panel from NYPD, DYCD, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, FDNY. We had Legal Aid Society there, as well as
Getting out and staying out.
Getting Out and Staying Out. Yeah. So it was a great discussion. It was very engaging. They brought up topics and issues that we're all aware of and want to hear from the organizations that are doing the work, especially in the field, in our neighborhood. We had a couple questions. It was pretty engaging, and luckily enough, we were able to record it. So that's something that we wanted to share with board members that weren't there. But besides that, just want to shout out some other people. Of course, Civitas, we have the director, Sharon Pope Marshall there. We saw from Mark Levine's office, Keisha Sutton and Eddie Gibbs showed up as well. And then we had a couple of CB11 helpers, board members come. I'm just going to tell them, say their names. Jose Altamirano, Adem Brija, Leslie Colon, Jewel Jones, Sage Mason, Nilsa Arama, Dawn Sanders, Rosa Diaz, and Tanya Phelps. And just from me and Michelle, just want to say thank you for being a part of the SAFE conference. Your support and presence made a real difference. And we want to express how much we appreciate the time and energy you contribute. Many of you helped with setup, coordination, and behind the scenes tasks that most people never see but absolutely feel. Others donated items, helped manage the flow of the event, or stepped in wherever an extra hand was needed. The success of the conference reflects the collective effort, and we're grateful to work alongside colleagues who consistently show up for the community and for each other. Thank you for giving your time on a weekend and for helping us create a space where agencies, organizations, and neighbors could connect meaningfully. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we had an action item, and one thing I do want to, we'll do the action item and real quick. So Dawn Sanders made a motion to allocate available committee funding to the Safety Awareness 3 for East Harlem Conference 2025 operations. The motion was seconded by Christina Johnson and passed with one abstention, Jones. It's a main motion on the floor. I will entertain a motion. Yes.
Did we want any discussion on it?
Is there, Any discussion?
We don't have the exact amount. That was the whole point. That's why we have it as what the committee, what has remained for the committee that we can have there.
So you'd like to make a friendly amendment to set the dollar amount? Is that what you're saying? Because usually the way this historically has gone was typically $500 if they didn't have just hold on.
Whatever is for the committee, we can't assume it is $500.
But upon getting clearance from the treasurer and from Angel, the cap being 500. However, if there's less, then they're happy with that as well. So yeah. But we needed to speak to the mic so we can record.
Sorry, yeah, just question, did you spend any money already that you know of you not having 500?
No.
Okay, just wondering.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Sage.
Did the cost of the conference exceed $500? Okay, cool. So $500.
Okay, but we do have a cap at 500. Yeah, so that's been longstanding for everyone. Okay, so again, there's Isaac Scott motions to support the allocation of available committee funds for the safety conference. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Joel Jones abstains. Hold on a second. All right, the motion carries.
Xavier.
Yes. Oh, and Valerie Ponte, sorry, I can't see your hand back there. You abstain? And Valerie Ponte, so 2 abstention. Okay, the motion carries. I just write this down. That was Jones and Ponte. Okay, Ponte. All right, I do have, you forgot something. And I held it out. It's in my chair report, but who's been over to 120th and Pleasant Avenue? Oh,
I apologize.
go ahead.
I did forget that. The Department of Transportation in his update gave us we have a traffic signal on Pleasant Avenue and a speed bump. We got both. So a win-win. Mike.
In the spirit of like announcing cool things that have happened, maybe it's also beneficial to note that, or I don't want to, if anybody else is going to announce it. The ferry.
I was going to, but yeah, you can. We can put that under announcements if you want. I
Okay.
just wanted, I held it out of my report, but I wanted to make sure it was mentioned because we both received the announcement.
Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, thank you. But yes, the ferries, yeah, thank you.
And can I make just one more thing?
Yep, sure.
Because why wait until the whole month for it to happen? There was a question asked by one of our members, and we are getting a bus stop, a whole covered bus stop, shelter on 116th Street. And that's why they took away the seating, because they're gonna put a whole enclosed area with seating on 116th Street. And Lexington Avenue, excuse me, and Lexington Avenue.
That's
a huge plus.
Yeah.
We are making a difference.
Yeah, so just to give everyone here, especially our new members, we have been fighting for that at 120th and Pleasant Avenue. I mean, for at least 10 years, at least. And that's how long it takes. And so that's worthy of the applause. And so again, when we band together and keep banging the drum, there's nothing we can't accomplish. So thank you. All right. Next up, we have youth and education. Asher.
All right, so we had our meeting yesterday. and it went very well, I would say. We had Sage come present on the new budget tracking tool, and then we had a presentation from Tony LaBarbera and the Social Mobility Journal, which is a independent publication that is, their mission statement is to have underrepresented youth voices write their stories, do mentorship, and Tony was basically telling me that they want to bring it to East Harlem and work with the high schools in the area. So I actually connected them to a few different high schools. They said they're also open to working with middle schools. It's just this is in its beginning phases. And basically the committee gave a lot of recommendations, and I spoke to Tony after, and they said that they will take the recommendations and put it into effect. So yeah, if anyone has any questions about that specific journal or would like the link, let me know. Fernando told me about a toy drive at Climate Justice this month. What's the day again? At PS 108. What? I will send that information out when we find it. All right. That's it. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Asher. Economic Development and Culture.
So we meet in the future because our meeting is tomorrow. It's gonna be a hard act to follow after tonight. So I implore all our committee members to make sure that they show up so we have quorum. We will have an interesting presentation on the African burial ground and where we stand in that situation. It's a long-standing project that's here in East Harlem. So I hope you're there.
And keeping in mind, board members, that you can attend virtually unless you sit on that committee. If you sit on that committee, you gotta be there in person, but if you're curious and want to just log in, it's, you know, it's helpful and informative. With that, we'll move on to executive. We did not have a meeting, district needs and budget.
Thank you. I'm Sage, Chair of District Needs and Budget. We are meeting next week, but I'll announce that we submitted our statement of district needs and budget requests. So we'll wait to hear the results of that in the mayor's preliminary budget when it comes out in January. I've been to almost every committee that has budget requests, except I'm going to EcoDev tomorrow. Thank you, Jose, for giving me the time. And I didn't go to Parks. They didn't have quorum this month, but I hope to go to Parks next month. I've gotten some great feedback, and we are working on crafting this budget tool to make it as useful as possible to everybody. So thank you, everybody who's given feedback. District Needs will meet next week to talk about the feedback and try and craft the tool to make it more useful. I think that's it. Cool.
Great. No questions. Thank you very much. We are now going to move on to our elections and election of officers term January 1, 2026 to December 31st, 2027. I just wanted to say something before us officers here and the staff who will stay behind just to assist as necessary before we yield the dais and join the body. First, it's been an honor to serve all of you for 4 years and 4 years prior as vice chair under Nilsa Rama's leadership. But something I wanted to say to everyone here in this room, that we all have a collective responsibility as imperfect creatures to build a perfect and better union by working together. And no matter what the results are of tonight's meeting and the election, it is upon all of us to come together. And that will rest heavily on the elected chair and vice chair to bring everyone together, as has been stated. And as you watch the video and land use, landmarks and planning, we have a heavy yoke to wear now, and our work will not rest. But it is up to us, and regardless of, for our new members, so you understand, you will have your paper ballots, you will submit them, same as online. It will become public record per the city law and be available and distributed as necessary, but don't let that bother you. No matter what we do, we all have to come together in the end. And I hope you will support whoever is elected in doing so. So thank you very much. And I now yield the floor, and officers, please, if we can leave. And I invite the elections committee up, who will take our place to begin the election process. Thank you very much. And I introduce Jessica Morris.
Got it. So, as we shuffle around, I'm gonna ask, as the current seated chairs move into the general seating area, the elections committee could come up if candidates, anybody who is a candidate, I'm gonna ask that you, come to the front so that when we address the body, you're closer to the front of the room. So I'm gonna say, Asher, can I ask you to come on up and join the front of the room? Yeah, just so we're all kind of up front. Anyone else?
Everyone, so, excuse me, everyone, could you please keep the crosstalk down and give Jessica Morris, the Elections Committee Chair, respect so everyone could hear the instructions and the announcement. Thank you.
Just have a seat over there for now. Yeah, just so that you're kind of up front. Yeah, we've got all of our candidates here in the front of the room. So everybody in the room can hear me. Yes, 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 even in the back. All right, very good. So thank you very much for your participation the past month and a bit. That constitutes our elections process. Last time I gave the report, I think I had 3 minutes at the end of the meeting. So this is going to take a little longer. We're going to move through the process together. It is a process and it is administrative. So I'm going to ask for you all to be patient with us while we do tallying, while we make sure everybody's vote is counted, while we make sure that we're accountable for what you decide you want to see. Before we get into that, I just want to show of hands, raise your hand if this is your first election cycle seated on the board. Raise them high. Very good. Okay, fantastic. Hands in the room if you were confused at any point during the elections process. 1, 2, 3, 4, few hands confused. You're not alone. Raise your hand if you had a meaningful exchange with another board member during the elections process. Raise them high, raise them high. Yeah, there we go. All right, very good. Very good. Okay, thank you. That makes it all worth it. This was a heavy lift to get us here today. And I want to thank fellow committee members, Pascal Hanou, John Green, Russell Schuler, and Kyoka Jackson. 5-person committee means quorum is at 3. Everybody was present all the time. Before we move forward, because once we get to the end of the election, we can't go back. I want to take a moment. Xavier just acknowledged the work that elected officers do, but I think it deserves another moment of acknowledgement, given that coming out of the period of the pandemic to a place where we're now all back in the same room. That is huge. That is unprecedented, and we all moved through it together. So if I could ask a round of applause for all of the dedication, commitment, ongoing efforts. It's tireless. So someone's going to get the job tonight. Let's see. So I am going to turn the mic over to Russell Schuler, Vice Chair Russell Schuler. Russell, you are going to introduce the candidates, to give a 2-minute address to the board. After we move through, there's a timer up on the screen. So candidates, if you can keep an eye on the timer. John will let you know when the timers run down, but please address the board, and then we will move on to the next candidate. One sec, Russell. Not yet, not yet. After we do an address of the board, Kyoka will give some instruction about the process, passing out ballots, when we open the polls, what to do to close the polls when we collect your ballots, and how we will account for the ballots. Again, it seems really simple, and it is, but we're going to ask for your patience in the process. If for any office, no member gets more than 50% of the votes, we will have to go to a runoff. So at the outset, There will be a roll call to account for all the members in the room. Which in addition to an individual, we're also a collective body. Half of that plus one is a winner. So thank you, for being here. So Russell, I don't believe we have an order, but I'm going to allow you to draw from the ballots, which has everyone, if you want to start from how you go. Good?
Good evening. Let's be energized. This is a turning point. Good evening. This is new to me. We have to be out here by 10 o'clock, so I can't take so long. All right, this is it, young people. To me, everybody's young people. So we go from the treasurer, Asha Rodriguez. As we did a forum, we have 2 minutes to speak. Her announce. Speak up, Russell. I don't know what to say. I lost my script.
All right. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Asher. Oh, this is, okay. Yeah, very powerful. Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Asher Rodriguez. I am the current chair of the Youth and Education Committee, and I'm also running to be treasurer of the whole board. I am running, and I said this at the candidate forum, so I shall keep my comments brief. I'm running because treasurer is a position that is constantly coming up between bylaws and also an executive as a position that needs to be a little bit more involved. And I saw at one point no one was taking up the responsibility of doing it. So I'm not someone who's just gonna stand and watch no one take responsibility for something. So I might as well. So yeah, that's basically the reason I'm running. Experience wise, I'm 21. So when I was in high school a few years ago, I can't just say high school. That's why I had to say my age. In high school and pretty much all throughout,
1 minute.
Treasurer of our National Honor Society chapter. In college for our social justice club. I also served as joint secretary and treasurer position. So I do know I have had previous experience. And I'm willing to work with the office and learning more exactly about how to run a board treasury report. So yeah.
30 seconds.
Each candidate will be coming to the podium to introduce themselves, position that they are running for and why they're running for it. And that they also have an opportunity to share anything they believe that you need to hear from them. Next candidate for treasurer will be Derek Sampone.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Derek Stampone, current treasurer of the board, but only for a couple of months, so I am new to it. I'm running for treasurer because I see the board is at a pivotal moment with term limits and many people who will be coming off the board in the coming years. I'd like to be a part of the next group of leaders of this board that's going to help push us in that direction, capturing our institutional knowledge, remaining strong as a board, continue our advocacy. We say things don't happen right away. Some things take a decade. And so we have to be able to work together and prepare the next generation of people on this board in order to do that. In my day job, I'm an assistant principal at a high school in Chelsea, the High School of Fashion Industries. And so in my day-to-day operational role there, I'm working with a lot of logistics, getting a lot of people together, different constituencies, got to listen to families, to students, to staff, and work together
1
in
minute.
order to, get the job done. And so I do a lot of work around development of students, development of staff. And it's really important that I work to identify the strengths and weaknesses of all the people that I'm with and use that to elevate one another. I look around in this room and I see 50 leaders. And so it's not, while yes, in the end, it's an election and it's about, deciding who the leadership of the board will be. But in the
30
end, it's really
seconds.
up to us in our individual capacities on this board in order to get the work done. So I hope you'll consider voting for me to continue with a full term as treasurer. Thank you.
And the third and final candidate for treasurer is Anne Marie Vasquez. She's on her way. So we'll go to secretary who's running unopposed. Finally here, Rosa Diaz.
Good evening, everyone. I heard you all like me and continue to nominate me for your secretary. Please be aware, I will continue to hold you accountable. So please be present for your committee and full board meetings. Thank you.
For the vice chairperson, Jose, help me.
It's 10 letters, so I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Some of my daughters have very short first names. Thank you all. Jose Altamirano. I've been in this community 40+ years. Have a family business, El Barrio Car Service, community car service that gives service to this community. Thank you all for considering me here tonight. I've been on the board for 15 years. It's a long time. Sometimes I forget. Angel's the one that reminds me because we came on together. But in this time, I have run for election once as secretary. And the reason I ran was because people were coming in late and leaving early. So I started that roll call business, market view, making sure that people were accountable. And it's one of the reasons I'm running now for vice chair, just to make sure that it's a transition period right now for our community board. We need a lot of changes that are happening with our 8-year term limits. And I'd like to make sure that moving forward, I have a 4-year term limit now, moving forward, that the board continues to be in good hands. It continues to drive forward, work together, being inclusive.
1
If you've ever
minute.
been in my committees, you'll know that we work very inclusively. I want everyone to make sure that they have a moment. I still have a minute left. And one of the changes I've made when I first became a committee chair, thinking, because I see a lot of new faces, was I remember when I was a new board member. I remember being forced to vote on things that were outside of my grasp. And one of the first things I did when I became a committee chair of public safety was I incorporated, which many other committees have
30
now taken
seconds.
up, where we talk about it one month and we vote on it the following month. These are very logical things that you can make to make people that are new to the community board feel more comfortable. Gives them time to research, gives them time to get used to things. And this is part of simple things that I want to do moving forward as vice chair so that everyone can work inclusively. Thank you.
The opposing candidate, Sage Mason.
Thank you. And I want to thank Jose for his 15 years of service on the board. I think that's great. And I think one of the most important things that we need to do is bring people together. So I'm excited, whatever happens. I feel like I've already won just because I've reached out to so many people in this process, and it's been a lot of fun just putting myself out there. So I'm Sage. I'm from East Harlem, born and raised. My family's been here since the 1960s. I'm a lawyer in my day job. I'm also the chair of the District Needs and Budget Committee. I've spoken to a lot of people in the last couple of weeks about like what I want to do on the board, and I would break down my like platform into 3 concrete things I want to do. The first is the board oversight committee, and a main responsibility of that is going to be onboarding new members as we go through this transitionary period where people are term limited off. I think we need like a concrete institution committee dedicated to showing board members how to be board members. And once people know how to like make motions and write resolutions and access the tools for board membership, then the capacity of the board is going to increase and we can better serve the community. So that's something I'm excited about. Another thing is I want to make the website more user friendly. And I think it's just hard to like navigate right now. You don't know how to get from like the website to the Google
30
Drive. And
seconds.
people need help with that. And then another thing I want to do, and I've spoken to some people about it, is reimbursing people for the necessary and reasonable expenses to commute to and from board meetings. That's something that the charter allows for. And I think we can find the funding to do it. Yes, it's in there. And somebody asked earlier, like what the budget for the community board is. The budget, the appropriated budget by the city is $410,000. Most of that rightfully goes to staff
Time.
salaries and rent for the board office. And we don't want to change that. And the staff is the most valuable resource that we have. But there is room to spend money on certain things like reimbursing travel expenses. And lastly, I just want to say, I think it's important while we go through this transitionary period to put people in leadership positions while there are still people around who've been on the board for 15 years. So that when like people like Jose leave in a couple of years, there isn't just a bunch of people in positions who have never been in those positions before and don't know how to do it. I think it's important to ramp up so that there is a wealth of knowledge that continues to exist even after some of our more veteran members turn off. Cool. Thank you. Sorry for going over. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
Chairperson, we go to Adem Rehab.
Thank you, Russell. I'm gonna stick to written remarks, otherwise I know I'll go way over. All right, so good evening, everybody, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Adem Bria. I was born and raised in East Harlem, and I'm running for chair. I hope you've all had a chance to read my candidate questionnaire responses, where I outline my leadership approach and my views on key issues like affordable housing, public safety, and economic development. Like each of you, I care deeply about our community. We may bring different perspectives, but we all want what's best for our people. And when we support one another and move with a shared purpose, there's no limit to what we can achieve. As chair, I will strengthen that environment, leading by example, working transparently, and ensuring every member, as well as our staff, feels respected and included. I will work closely with our vice chair, district manager, and officers, and improve communication internally and within the community so our outreach is informed, consistent, and proactive. I've served on the board for nearly 12 years, chairing 3 committees, vice chairing 2, and serving many years on the executive committee. I know where we excel, where we can improve, and how much more we can accomplish
1
when we
minute.
work together. Because many of us only see each other once a month, building relationships can be challenging, especially for newer members. As chair, I will create a mentorship program pairing new and tenured members, as well as offering more chances for members to connect outside of meetings so trust can grow naturally. With term limits, building a strong leadership pipeline is essential. Newer members need hands-on training and experience, taking minutes, drafting letters and resolutions, and leading projects. Committee chairs will have my full support, and I will
30
expect them to
seconds.
empower their members the same way. This board deserves a chair who is steady, fair, neutral, experienced, hardworking, and inclusive. Someone who brings people together and makes every member comfortable with sharing their views, no matter how others feel. That is who I am, and that is how I will lead. I respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you.
Time to steal the balance. Time to steal the balance. The final candidate for chairperson and for the night, Isaac Scott.
All right. I'm gonna follow in the damn steps because y'all know how I get. My name is Isaac Scott, and I was born in Harlem, raised in Harlem. I'm the chair of the Human Services Committee, and I'm running for board chair. For some of you, this may be the first time hearing from me during this process, but I assure you I wanted to ensure that I was following the elections committee process to the T. And I appreciate the opportunity to address you all tonight. So thank you again. I'm running for chair because I believe our board needs 2 things right now: stronger internal stability and deeper community engagement. First, internal stability. The very first thing I would do as chair is meet with every board member and staff member to learn more about you. Learn more about your work, hear your concerns, understand your challenges, and listen to your suggested improvements. I want a board culture where we can talk to each other and be honest with each other, and we are all respectful to one another. And I want you to know that I will listen to you, I will empathize with you, and I
1
will
minute.
always work towards a resolution. I will not be afraid to allow you to guide me in my leadership. I will also allow you to correct me in my leadership. And I will not get offended. This is the model that I bring in every single room. My goal is to support you, strengthen your committee work, and create space where every member's talent is respected and put to use. That means clearer board orientations, additional training options, real conflict resolution practices, and intentional work to
30
disband the
seconds.
cliques. When board members feel supported, they feel more empowered, less burned out, and more encouraged in their volunteer service. Stronger internal stability also. It will lead to better policy, y'all. When we're able to communicate more clearly, when we can collaborate more, we're able to avoid misunderstandings that undermine really good decisions that we should be making, right? We all have seen how confusion around issues such as like supportive housing, addiction services, and
Time.
even complicated land use issues have led to like unnecessary division. A stronger internal foundation helps us to build more informed, consistent, and community-centered policies that actually meet the needs of East Harlem. And second, community engagement. Last year, this year, fewer than 200 people filled out the district needs survey in a community of more than 120,000 residents. That tells us that our engagement model is not accessible enough. We can fix that. We can hold more public education events, create infographics, produce short explainers, record brief PSAs. You know, yesterday I spoke with a group of teenagers at CPE about storytelling, and the same things I was bringing to them, we can bring that
Time.
right here in our community. So with that, if you want a board that's more collaborative, thank you all. I appreciate the time. But if you all want a board that is more collaborative, that is more brought together, where people will listen to you and you can build and you can actually have your talents maximized, I'm ready to be your chair.
Our absent candidate for treasurer, Anne Marie Vasquez, is here, right? I didn't see. Yes, announcement. Yes. You have 2 minutes to, you have, you, Anne Marie. Wait. Come. Yeah. Come on. Chairperson.
Anne Marie, you have 2 minutes.
Wait. No. She has an opportunity to introduce herself, the position she's running for, why you want this position, and you can have an opportunity to tell the board other things other than that you want them to know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys for giving me a few minutes to introduce myself. My name is Anne Marie Vasquez. I'm sorry that I'm late. I just got off a plane. I've been in Puerto Rico for the last 2 weeks. So I'm not really prepared as well. I thought I wasn't gonna make it to this event, or I didn't make it to the this event. I'm sorry, this meeting. I didn't make it to the forum. So I figured I wasn't gonna prepare myself, but just to let you know, I'm Anne Marie Vasquez. I'm the chair of the License and Permit Committee, vice chair of the Economic Development and Culture Committee. And I just want to say I'm running for this position because I'm definitely committed to the community board. As you can see, I'm here straight from a plane. I could have stood at home after I dropped off my mom. I'm committed. This is my neighborhood, born and raised here. I do a lot for the community through my job, but as well as personal. And some of you guys know that. I know there's a treasurer position. So basically,
1
my
minute.
experience as a treasurer, I don't know if you can say this is experience, but I do budgets at my job. I work with budgets. I work with grants. So it's not treasure, but it's similar. It has to do with numbers and money and so forth. So just that's all I could say. And I hope you guys will give me a chance. And thank you. Oh my God, thank you. I feel like I was rushed.
Thank you, Emery. Thank you, Nye, for calling point of order. Understood. So, Angel, are we here responsible for calling the roll to establish our numbers in the room? Yes, okay. Very good. So, I'm going to Keoka, you have a couple of things on the script here to walk folks through what we're going to be doing. You want to take the mic and then I will call the roll when it's time?
So good evening, everyone. And just a few points. Please keep your crosstalk to a minimum while we are voting. So if you can, how about not talking at all and just vote?
That's the ballot. Let's go.
Angel will call well, that's not true. Jessica will call the roll and the ballots will be distributed. The candidate who receives at more than 50% of the votes cast will be declared the winner. If no candidate receives the majority of the vote, a runoff will be conducted. Once you have casted your vote, please fold your ballot and raise them up and someone will come and collect them. After all is collected, I didn't write this. Hold up. Let me just say what I'm saying. After you voted, somebody's going to collect your vote. They're going to be brought up to the front. We're going to tally your votes and we will call the election in accordance to the tally. Yes. Are there pens where people should come from? There's pens coming around.
Raise your hand if you need a pen. Please stay seated and keep quiet if possible.
So that one more, if you guys give me a chance, there's one more. When we collect all of the ballots, we just need a few minutes to count them, please. We are doing this by hand. Everybody did not go to private school. I need silence. No, I'm just. So we just need just give us a little bit of time and we will count and we will announce.
So I'm going to go ahead now and call the roll. If I can ask everybody to kind of quiet down and we will fulfill needs. We will fulfill needs as we call the roll. Okay, you stay over there with the mic. So I'm going to go ahead and call the roll. Okay, so as I call your name, please answer present. If you do not have a ballot or pen at that point, identify your need. Okay. So Jose Altamirano, Fernando Alvarez, Marcel Bondima, Adem Brija, Marie Charles, Leslie Colon, Kenneth Crouch is no longer a member. Carlos Diaz, Rosa Diaz, Jessica Elliott, David Giordano, Ada Jaziri, James Gray, John Green,
Here.
Chancellor Gregg, Pascal Hanou, Wanda Hopkins.
Present.
That was present? Thank you. Keoka Jackson, Christina Johnson, Jewel Jones, James Kemp, Sage Mason, Malik McCullough, Robin McGinty. Robin McGinty. Jennifer Meyer. Jessica Morris, present. Hayward Mooten.
Present.
Hayward Mooten.
Present.
Thank you, Hayward. Nilsa Orama. Beverly Pabon. Samantha Padero.
Present.
Pedrero, pardon me, Samantha.
That's okay, present.
Carolyn Percy. Carolyn Percy. Tanya Phelps. Marina Phillips. Valerie Ponte. Asha Rodriguez. Don Sanders,
Present.
Xavier Santiago, Janelle Satija, Isaac Scott, Russell Schuler, Loretta So, Derek Stampone, Vincent Torres, Anne Marie Vasquez, Jason Villanueva, Candy Vivas Vasquez, Nye Whitaker, Agatha White, virtually. There is an electronic ballot, Google Forms. Okay, and Michelle Wilshire Clement, Jason Wu. Okay, once again, Agatha White is no longer present, is that correct? Okay. Okay, and so there are 44 members present, which means that 23 is the magic number. So one moment. We'll answer some questions before we cast the ballots. Like I said, the ballots are the easy part. We will have a period of time where the ballot box, the polls will be open. Then we will call for anyone who wishes to vote, who has not, and then we will close the polls and we will do the accounting. Questions? Please put your hand down if you're done with your ballot and you're raising it up. For now, just put it down for a moment while we answer any questions. I'll start with Asher. Correct. Members can vote for themselves. Yes. Correct. For any office, you still need more than half the votes. Correct. Any other questions from the floor? Abstentions are not counted as a vote for a candidate. A candidate, in order to be elected, needs 23 votes. Is that clear? Sage? It will be much like this with a separate runoff ballot between the top two candidates. Good. Any other questions? Very good. So we don't have a timer, but I will set a timer and we will make a call. When you're done, please quietly, if you could just raise them up. Russell will go ahead and collect the ballots.
They should look like this, please. Yep. Just a nice little square. If you have it like that, that's
please
don't worry about it.
Quiet if you can in the room. Make sure that you sign your name, you write your name, you sign your name. Everybody will be accounted for. No double voting.
Jessica, how should the folks online do the electronic ballot?
One moment.
So this is a moment in time. Hello, good evening. Good evening. During this period of time, we allow you to play games on your phone.
If you're attending virtually, please kindly provide us 2 minutes to get our house in order and send you a link to your email, which will contain the ballot. We will then ask you to confirm that you have received the link, and we will acknowledge that we have received your vote.
Well, riding the subway, riding with people.
That was my first one. You've got to do a tally. Thank you. I was not trying to disrupt. I just felt like it was out of order. Because we need two, and what you need to compare, so you have to do your separately. Don't, like, no, you gotta, I won't, I've been doing elections before, but like, no, we're not going that. You're gonna tally. Thank you. Derek, is it critical? Vote again. I can go. Andy's in the room.
Don, understood you have not yet received a ballot. We're sending at present, so hold tight.
Candy's in the room? Yes. Agatha was not present. Samantha Pedro was also in the room. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. What?
Ballots have been sent to those who are voting virtually.
So it's illegal for you to send it in the chat. The same link that you just sent in email, why is it wrong to send in the chat? It's not right or wrong. So much. But so people have a phone, they're on their phone, and they can't check their email and do it at the same time. How are they going to? I'm not on. I'm just asking. You know, if you're in Drive, however it gets done, gets done.
Wanda, acknowledging you're online and you need a link to the ballot.
Yes, I need a link to the ballot. I'm online.
I've received my ballot and I'm filling it out now.
Wanda, a ballot has been sent.
Thank you.
Samantha, a ballot has been sent.
Hold on.
Yes.
Yeah, did you read the C one? Yeah. So this is who's on right now. So you have Dawn, Hayward, Jennifer, John, Samantha, and Wanda. I've only heard Wanda said, I haven't heard back from John. You got 6 on and you got everyone casted.
We're getting closer.
Sorry. Oh, no, I just asked the question. Not a good idea right now. That's all I want to know. Thank you.
No, it seems simple.
We are within minutes.
That's one of the things that comes to I value their question. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you can just read for each office, every line, as it goes, and you don't have to say. Report it out, and then take timers. I'll make an announcement first about the total number necessary, okay?
Hello? We can call it back to order.
Clap once if you hear me. Clap twice if you hear me. We would like to call the meeting back into order. Hello? We would like to call the meeting back into order so that we can get you home. We're gonna try it one more time. Clap once if you hear me.
So we're good? Okay, very good. So point of clarification before we tell out the report of the votes. In our roll call, we had one member who was present who did not acknowledge they were present until they requested a remote ballot. So the total number present, and it's verified there online, is 45, which means 24 is the magic number for 23.5. So it's 24. So Pascal, if you can read out the results, and I'll ask because this may not, in fact, this is not conclusive. So we're not done with this process upon the reading out of this information.
Okay, so for treasurer, number of votes casted, 45. Necessary for election, 24. Derek Stampone received 23 votes. Asher Rodriguez received 12 votes. Anne Marie Vasquez received 9 votes. There were 1 abstentions. For vice chair, number of votes cast, 45. Necessary for election, 24. Jose Altamirano received 31 votes. Sage Mason received 13 votes. There was 1 abstention. For chairperson, number of votes cast, 45. Necessary for election, 24. Adem Brija received 36 votes. Isaac Scott received 9 votes. There were 0 abstentions. That word is killing me. Well, for secretary, not on here, but Rosa Rodriguez. Well, let me go over the whole thing. All right, for secretary, number of votes cast, 45. Necessary for election, 24. Rosa Diaz received 41 votes. There were 4 abstentions.
So there are 45 total members, correct?
Correct.
So now half is actually 23. So 45 is 22, 25. So there would actually be 23. So
This is where we get into math, huh? 45, half of 45 is 42.5 plus 1, 22.5. So we need 23 votes. Therefore, okay, we have an outcome. Fantastic. We can all not do a runoff. Fantastic. Okay, so it is customary, I believe, for us to relinquish our position here and for the chair of the board to announce the outcome. '24, right? Okay, so to clarify, my apologies, to clarify. Let's go.
Okay, we're gonna clarify. Can I have everyone's attention, please? Just so that we can wrap up. Should I go over all of the positions again? Just, okay. So for the treasurer, number of votes cast, 45. Necessary for election, 23. Derek Stampone received 23 votes. Asher Rodriguez received 12 votes. Anne-Marie Vasquez received 9 votes. There was 1 abstention. Thank you.
So I'm going to hand the mic to the board chair to announce the outcome of the election. Declare a winner.
Well, thank you very much to the elections committee for their hard work. Hold your horses. Let me get my. Espera, okay. All right, so the incoming chair starting January 1 will be Adem Brija. The incoming vice chair will be Jose Altamirano. The incoming secretary will be Rosa Diaz, and the incoming treasurer will be Derek Stampone. So thank you to all the candidates for your efforts in answering the questions and participating. We look forward to a smooth transition and fighting for the future. So we'll now go back to our regular business. Now that elections are concluded, do we have any new business? Any old business? Announcements, we do have one, and I'd like to give Sage the opportunity just to talk about the ferry. Just you come on up because you mentioned it's a. No, this is a huge win for us.
Yes, it's a huge win for all of us. So we've been advocating for a while, and again, congrats to all of the candidates and the victorious candidates. Excited for the new year. Yes, we are all victorious now. Thank you. So we've been advocating for a long time for ferry service to come to East Harlem. On the Public Safety and Transportation Committee, our idea was that it would be easier for the city to repair the existing ferry or the existing pier on 107th Street, Pier 107. So we've been saying like, oh, repair Pier 107 so that the ferry can come to East Harlem. But that didn't exactly make sense. One, because Pier 107 is really old and it's going to be expensive to repair. And because there is already a pier at 90th Street. So it's like not that far away. And so we've been advocating for that and we weren't sure what was going to happen. But it was announced just like a week ago, last week, that instead of the Pier 107 pier, they're going to build a brand new pier at 127th Street in the East River. Yes, which is really cool. And that will link like the 2nd Avenue subway, 125th Street, and will go further north to be more accessible to more residents in East Harlem. So I think it's even better. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's much better. I don't know what the timeline in that is.
Can you just take the mic, Jose?
We've been pushing in public safety for this pier since I became chair. It's like a long time ago, like 14 years. So we're very happy that this happened. We're excited. We wanted to have this kind of transportation come from East Harlem. There was also another big push for the South Bronx, but we were lucky that we got it first because they have a lot of development in the South Bronx currently. So it's very exciting that this happened, but this also means that they're going to fix the Espaillat because in order to do the pier, they have to bridge it, they have to fix it, which is another exciting news for this community, because as you all know, that is falling into the river. And it's terrible how until you get until a certain street, probably around 96th Street, 97th Street, and then you can't run no more and you can't use it. So in our community, we can't use it. Even though there are bridges over it and you can get to it, you know, it's literally falling into the river. So we're very excited that this is going to happen. It's going to be together. We had a walkthrough that our chair and the DEM were able to go to. I was unfortunately away, but it is very exciting news that these two projects, which are linked, will happening very soon. Thank you.
And again, I just want to remind everyone, just like we got the traffic signal and the stop on the speed hump over on 120th and Pleasant, and this announcement, the countless meetings, the work can happen and the results can be delivered, but it takes a unified front. So with that, no more announcements, except for if you're looking for a turkey and you know people in need, reach out to me. There are various drives going on right now, and I will connect you. With that, we'll call the roll. Thank you, Rosa.
Okay. Last roll call, Jose Altamirano, Fernando Alvarez, Marcel Bondima, Adem Brija, congratulations, Marie Charles, oh, Leslie Colon, okay. Carlos Diaz, Rosa Diaz is myself, Jessica Elliott, absent, David Giordano, Ada Guzeri, thank you, James Gray, John Green,
Here, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
thank you, Chancellor Greg, Pascal Hanu, Wanda Hopkins,
Present.
thank you, Kyoka Jackson, thank you, Christina Johnson, Jewel Jones, James Kemp, Sage Mason, Malik McCulloch, Robin Maginty, Robin, absent, Jennifer Mayer, absent, Jessica Morris, girl, Hayward Motoon,
Here.
absent, Neil Saurama, Beverly Pavon, Samantha Pedreiro,
Present.
Samantha Pedreiro,
Present.
I cannot hear anyone. Carlene Percy, absent, Tanya Phelps, thank you, Marina Phillips, absent, Valerie Ponte, thank you, Asher Rodriguez, Dawn Sanders,
Present.
thank you, Xavier Santiago, Janal Satija, Isaac Scott, absent, Russell Schuller, thank you, Loretta So, Derek Stampone, Vincent Torres, absent, Marie Vasquez, thank you, Jason Villanueva, Candy Vives Vasquez, thank you, Nye Whitaker, Agatha White, absent, Michelle Wilshire Clement, Jason Wu.
Marina Phelps. Okay, great. We've got you. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, she's here. All right. With that, we conclude our meeting at 9:21. Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for your service.